Okay. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. Our first case is cause number 331922. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Joshua Jeray Hines.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Hines, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Hines? That's good. Mr. Hines, you're here represented by your attorney Kevin Lane. Attorney Lane, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Mr. Lane, do you waive a record in Mr. Hines' case?
We do, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hines, the state is represented by Attorney Lamar Johnson. Attorney Johnson, how are you doing?
I'm well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Hines, I have before me a document that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information. In this information, it alleges that on or about January 15 of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Hines, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Hines, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Mr. Hines, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, Mr. Hines, there are a set of initials, JH, next to another set of initials, KSL, which is your attorney initials, and it's next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Hines, did you place your initials, JH, next to your attorney's initials?
Yes, sir.
On the third page of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Mr. Hines, is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
I have another document before me. This document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Hines, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And at the bottom of this document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant Signature. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Mr. Hines, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, before you sign and initialed all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me, States Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor. State office phase 1.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. States Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Lane, you've advised and counseled Mr. Hines. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Hines, your attorney, Mr. Lane, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
Your Honor, in exchange for defendant's plea of, guilty in this case, the state is recommending confinement in the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 365 days, Your Honor. We're asking that the court suspend imposing that sentence at this time and place defendant on community supervision for 1 year. Require defendant to pay $350 fine to complete 50 hours of community service. And we're asking for the standard DWI probation terms and conditions to include a DWI education course, drug and alcohol analysis, and also an interlock device.
Okay, Mr. Hines, the state is offering that you serve 365 days in the Jefferson County Jail, but you will not be required to serve the 365 days in Jefferson County Jail because you will be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $350 plus court costs of $407. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DW education class and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay while you're on probation, is $150 and $151 per month. Mr. Hines, will you be able to pay the $151 each month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Hines, you will also be required to attend and complete a DWI education class, have a drug and alcohol assessment. You'll also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, and you will also you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Now, Mr. Hines, do you understand the state's offer?
Sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hines, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, if I fail to mention you're required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. The probation officer, normally you have, I think, 30 days. The probation officer will tell you how long you have to install that device. Now, this will conclude your case. You're going to stand on the X next to your attorney. Oh, just have a seat because she has to do the paperwork. And then once she finished with the paperwork, the clerk will call you back up to the one that you're going to stand on the X and follow the directions of the clerk. And once you finish following her direction, and once you and your attorney have signed the necessary paperwork, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And you'll be free to go as well, Mr. Lane. You have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Judge, when we approach on that one,
Okay, yes. Next case is cause number 332818. Case is style of State of Texas versus Chase Allen Ekman. We have before us Mr. Ekman's attorney, William Marcus Wilkerson. And Mr. Wilkerson, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, Your Honor.
That's good. Now, and Mr. Kobe Hallpower is here on behalf of the state of Jefferson County, state of Texas. Now, Mr. Hallpower, do you have, first of all, how are you doing?
good, Judge.
All right.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Hallpower, you have an announcement you'd like to make?
I do. I have confirmed that Mr. Ekman is in custody in Chambers County, Judge.
Okay,
I'm not sure if the court's already forfeited the bond or not, or if they've surrendered.
they surrendered.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever we needed to do, I would, if he is in custody, I wanted to make sure he would get credit on this while he was.
well, that depends on whether or not the county, they have a hold on it.
But what I'm saying is, so the way we would do that is if we would ask the forfeiter, forfeit the bond, that way he would start getting credit on it.
The bondsman got off his bond,
Okay,
so
He has no bond.
he has no bond, so he should be getting credit.
good. That's all we were, and that's what my understanding was. I just want to make, if it wasn't somehow,
Yeah.
we revoke it so we can
They
get
got
this
off the
day.
bond, so he doesn't have a bond. So
That's all.
he's
Yeah.
gonna get credit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Glenn.
And
Thank you.
I guess whenever he bonds out, they'll give him a court date, or if he doesn't bond out and they have a hold, they're gonna go and pick him up and bring him to this county.
With him, we're having a warrant here with no bond. He's coming here before.
Right,
Now, look, I've been in Chambers County. That don't mean it should happen that way.
Okay, okay,
Right.
okay,
So
okay,
that is my only case on the docket today, Your Honor.
okay. So Mr. Wilkerson, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
right. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, you're welcome. Court will be in recess.
Unless you don't leave with it, that's fine.
No, it's just an announcement. Next case is cause number 332-516, case of South State of Texas versus John Paul Trimble. Mr. Trimble, would you please come forward?
Yeah, it's fine.
Mr. Trimble, your full name is John Paul Trimble?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Trimble?
Doing good.
That's good. Mr. Trimble, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Kevin Lane. Mr. Lane, what is your announcement in Mr. Trimble's case?
Your Honor, we've received all of the evidence in the video. We've viewed those. We've received an offer in the case and we're rejecting that offer and we're requesting.
Reset it for trial?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give us she's gonna give us a trial date.
May 22nd.
Okay, this case will be reset for trial for May 22nd of 2023. Mr. Trimble, your attorney is going to sign for your reset. Once he signs for your reset and give you the reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Lane, this is your last case. Once you sign for the reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Thank you. Court is in